Welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the program, and it is show number 133. So pumped to be with you today. So happy to be on with you. I love doing this podcast. I love meeting great educators. I love sharing with you. So it's great. I'm really happy to be a member of the Education Podcast Network. If you like this show, you're an educator, you're a school leader, check out all the great programming. Chris Nessie, my man, is doing great work there. Education Podcast Network. Also happy to be part of Voice Ed Radio Canada, my friend Stephen Hurley. So we are going from Pennsylvania today to Minnesota to Canada as well. So my friend Stephen Hurley and Voice Ed Radio Canada, so happy to be part of those programs. Also so happy to develop my relationship with Halvesies cookies, right? You're only getting half, but they're so good, you only need half. Use discount code Murata15 for a 15% discount. These cookies are fantastic. My friend David Maffei was a school educator, was a school leader, and actually stepped away from schools because his company was doing so well. So I appreciate them sponsoring the program. If you need to send something, you need to order cookies, right? Check out Halvesies cookies. He vacuum seals them. They're made in their custom kitchen in their home, and they're shipped out to you vacuum sealed. They're fantastic. So thank you to Halvesies cookies for sponsoring the program. Let's get started. Show number 133. And again, you never know the power of a single experience, right? You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to talk to. I was fortunate enough to be invited to speak to the Minnesota Principals Association. And it was virtual, right? And I had 2 sessions, and they were well attended, and they were a great group of school leaders. And I met Mike Carr. We're going to talk to Mike here in a minute. Mike is a lifelong educator. Mike is a lifelong coach. I think I got stories. I know Mike's going to have a million stories from coaching and refereeing and being a school leader. 12 grandkids. He's got 12. Holy cow. So we're going to meet Mike Carr from Minnesota there, the St. Cloud area, and talk to Mike. He's a principal at Monticello High School, and I appreciate him being our guest today. So to kick us off for my opening segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about my life as an official. Mike is a former official, still officiating, and just the comparisons, right, to the job as a school principal, as a school assistant principal, and the life of a referee, right? So you might be saying, hey, they're totally different jobs and this and that. They're actually not. So think about these comparisons, and I'm going to ask Mike his opinion. Number one, you're in the public spotlight. Everyone sees you. You're the building principal. Everyone sees you. The referee, you're on the court. They see you. You're on the field. They see you. You're in the public spotlight. No matter what decision you make. Number two, no matter what decision you make, there are going to be people that are not happy, even if you're right. Right? This isn't a game about being right or wrong. Certainly in officiating, you want to be right. In education, you want to do great things for kids, right? Not be right or wrong. But even when you make the right decision in education, there's going to be people that aren't happy. Certainly in officiating, there's not. And you got to get used to that, right? You're not going to please everyone. Number three, you got to make quick decisions. You got to make snap decisions sometimes and be able to make those decisions. Number four, you have to know the rules. As an official, you got to know the rules. As a school educator, you got to know the rules, right? The teacher contract, student responsibilities. This happens to a student. You better make sure you do A, B, and C. You got to know the rules. Number 5, and this might be the most important, right? I heard my friend Roger Ayers on a podcast. He's the Final Four college basketball official talk about being the official that everyone wants to work with. You got to know how to talk to people. You got to know how to talk to people as a school leader, as an official, as a parent, as an educator, right? No one ever walked away going, that guy was a great teacher or that girl was a great teacher, but man, was she a jerk, right? No one's ever saying that. You got to know how to talk to people. And I've been so fortunate to have a number of mentors in my life. Mike does that for so many people now. And I want to talk to him a little bit about his mentors who helped shape him. And number 6, look the part, right? Someone told me as an official, half the battle, half the trust earned from the crowd and the coaches is when you walk out on the court, looking the part. Well, at school, right? Mike mentioned my book earlier. We're going to talk about it. I wrote it here. Dress to the nines. Look the part. Wear the school stuff. Make sure your stuff is neat looking and clean looking, and you're groomed and you look the part. You walk tall. Your shoulders are back. All that stuff shows about confidence and shows about, your professionalism of the job. My mom is watching in Staten Island. Hey, Mom, I think you're going to like today's guest. He seems right up our alley. Might have to bring the families together at one point. Let's bring Mike Carr in. I'm going to get him here, Mike. I got to unmute you so we can talk to you. There we go, everyone. Mike Carr, welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond. Mike, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm happy to be on board. I appreciate the invitation, and I was so excited hearing your talk when you spoke to the principals in Minnesota, and now to what an honor to be on the podcast with you today. So.
Cool. And all your handlers, all your people got you set up there in the office?
Yeah.
They got
Boy,
you?
I tell you, I needed everybody. We have a great group of secretaries and people who are a little more adept at the technical aspect to help me get all set up. My wife, who's normally on Facebook, I'm not. So I had to do a Facebook account and get on Facebook, and that was something. And I was worried I wasn't going to get on the show, but boy, here I am. All the people that look after me, and without getting paid a nickel for it, they all helped me a great deal. So a big shout out to them.
Maybe we'll get them some of those these cookies.
There you go. They will definitely be a candidate for some of those.
Tell me a little bit about what you thought about the opening segment, about the comparisons of those two jobs.
Well, there's no question, and one of the other things that you could add to that would be you have to be the calmest one out there when people all around you are losing their wits. You need to be the calmest one out there, and that was one of the biggest pieces of advice I got when I got into the profession, and I use that a lot of times. Things are going crazy around you. You have to remain calm and provide that leadership out there and that guidance for whether it be college basketball players or football players or high school students. A fight breaks out or something's going wrong in the school, you need to be to stay calm and take care of the situation. You don't want to make it any worse than it already is. But I thought all of your comparisons were spot on. You have to be the man out there knowing the rules. You have to, and you have to be able to apply the rules. There's a lot of gray in there, just like there is in basketball or football. It's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray that you have to read through, and I think that's the good officials and the good principals are able to kind of read the whole situation. Did it really make a difference in the play, or and does it really make a difference if that kid has to be suspended, or can you just talk to him? Does he understand? Like when you do a discipline thing, you want to make sure that the discipline keeps the event from happening again. Did that student get the message? Maybe we work with him a different way and just make sure he doesn't do it again. So,
absolutely. And guys, if you're just joining us or our audience, this is Mike Carr, principal at Monticello High School in Minnesota. That's about 30 miles northwest of Minneapolis. Mike, my mom's watching. She's my biggest fan, and one of your biggest fans is watching. Jill, your daughter, and if you are watching live, please leave us a comment or a question. And Mike, tell our listening audience, right? You're the principal of Monticello. Tell about your school and the culture of your school and the culture of the work environment you're in.
Well, we have about 1,300 kids, grades 9 through 12. And like I say, we're right between Minneapolis and a town about 60 miles northwest called St. Cloud. That's a major area in Minnesota as well. And we're right in the middle of those two cities. And we feel we have the best of both worlds. We're a great size. We have great staff here, great secretaries, great custodians who take a great deal of pride in our building, great teaching staff to work with. And we have great kids and a great community who really supports the community very well. And I just feel so fortunate to be in a school like this that has the support and the great people involved. An example of that, our administrative team from the top on down is just a great group to work with. And we take our own personal vacation. In the past few summers, we've done this to go with just our principals and hang out. We'll go to different areas in Minnesota. We've gone into the Boundary Waters canoe area. We've gone up to the North Shore. Different places to hang out. We have such a great group of administrators that we choose to take our own vacation time to hang out together sometimes, and we just have a ball. So it's just a great place to be. We feel we have a great culture here. Our kids are great, and it's a fun place to be.
That sounds like people that you want to be around that are investing with each other and in their profession. Mike, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a grandfather, you're a coach, you're an official, you're a school leader. You're doing a lot of things right here. Tell me about your leadership style.
Well, I like to say that I lead how I would like to be led. I think back to some of the great principals that I worked with, and principals I had when I was a student. What did I feel like? Boy, when the principal said hello to me when I was a student, I thought that was the neatest thing. When he knew your name, that was a big deal. So I try to get to know kids' names and spend I like to hear their stories. I like to talk to them, sit down with them at lunch, or talk to them, or see them at their games, maybe before. If there's a varsity game and a junior varsity game, I might talk to the kids who aren't playing at the time. Tell me your story. Let me hear your story. So I just like to do things like that. I like to hear the story of our staff. One of the funnest things that I do on maybe our last workshop day, I just walk around the building and I just stop in and ask teachers, how are you doing? How are you feeling after the year? What do you got planned for the summer? What's going on in your life? I just try to and really just be a good listener. I think that sometimes people appreciate somebody when they listen to them and just you got two ears and one mouth. You should do twice as much listening, right? So I always believe that.
That's great advice, and I know you have a lot of good people around you that appreciate you. Mike, another thing that got my attention, right? You've been doing this a long time. This ain't your first rodeo. Assistant principal for a number of years, 14 years at another school, 4 at the school you were at, and we'll get to that a little bit, but you're still going to the principal's conference to learn, and we met on that virtual conference. So here's somebody that's been a lifelong educator that's still learning. Tell me about your mindset about still wanting to learn at your age.
Well, I may not be the smartest person, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. And I love going. We have a great group of principals here in Minnesota. They run a great summer conference at Breezy Point. We're hoping to get you out there sometime when we aren't virtual anymore. But
let's do it.
Yeah, Dave Adney, our principal's executive director. He does a great job. He'll stop in our school, just pop in sometimes just to see how we're doing, things like that. We just have a great group. We have a lot of fun up there, but we have great speakers and this year. Happened to tune in to your session. I just enjoyed your style and how you were talking, and then ended up getting your book and things like that, and reading that, and boy, it just to hear your officiating stories and things like that, that really, I thought we might be able to click a little bit, and it's been enjoyable talking to you, getting this all set up and things like that.
Absolutely. Beer's on me when we come out to Breezy Point, but it is an inspiration, Mike, really, to know that you still maintain a positive attitude and you still want to learn for somebody, right, who's been doing it so long. Again, I mentioned 18 years as an assistant principal. What would you say to all the teachers that are now beginning that first year as an assistant principal, or someone who's maybe thinking about it? What advice would you learn after doing that job for so long?
Well, first of all, I certainly would encourage them to look into it and get involved in it in some way, shape, or form. And I always tell people who are interested to see if you can do something, perhaps at the district level. Broaden the horizon a little bit. Don't just be at one school. Try to go to an elementary school. Maybe do something there, or arrange a special day at the school, or but to get involved in something, I think is a good way to see if you really want to be in administration. Um, but I would encourage them to go through it. I had people that encouraged me to go through it. I was fortunate to kind of get a break. I actually went to a school as a math teacher, and they ended up hiring me to do some curriculum and start as a dean of students and become an assistant principal. And so I had some good experiences doing other things in a type of administrative role.
Yeah. And Mike, you spent 14 years at Sartell school there. And what made you switch? What made you switch to Monticello?
Well, I just had a chance to kind of move on and try something else, and I knew probably have a shot at the principal role and things like that. The principal was similar in age to me, so I knew he had told me he wasn't planning on being there too much longer, and
Yeah.
we had so much fun together that he actually stayed on a few years past his time, and during my time as an assistant principal, I thought I was pretty good. My role is to try to make a principal look good and things like that, and I worked hard to do that. And boy, when I hired my first hire as a principal, his name is John Reeves, fantastic assistant principal. And he has now moved on down the road to a bigger school and has actually become the principal there. He was just named
Wow.
the principal.
Wow.
I thought I was okay as an assistant. Boy, he blew me way. He just blew me way out of the tub. And now I've hired another assistant principal. Her name is Lori Hansen. She had been a dean of students at the middle school. She's come on board on July 1st, and now she's doing great things already for us. We've had a lot of planning, as you know, trying to plan for this upcoming school year. Is certainly very difficult, but she's been a great asset already, and so I look forward to getting to get in the fires together once the school year starts.
Soon enough. And again, there's a number of people watching live here. Please leave us a comment or a question. I know Mike has touched a lot of people in his lifetime and has some family and friends watching. So please leave us a comment or a question. Mike, you've mentored so many now, been doing this so long. But one of your mentors has done pretty well. And I don't want to mispronounce his last name. Is it Mike Spanier?
Spanier. Yep.
Spanier. Was a school administrator, but it was also an NFL official. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what Mike has meant to you in your role as a school administrator and some of the things you learned from him?
Well, Mike was one of the guys who got me into officiating, and he, along with John Leeser, took me under their wings. And you have to have some good mentors in officiating and to keep you excited in it and things like that, and have people that'll help you and people that are upper echelon officials around here that are willing to take some time with younger officials and keep them going. And Mike and John were friends of mine. John Leeser. The other one was actually a high school teacher of mine, and Mike taught at the school and actually was a coach of mine. So he kept mentoring me, and he went on the official in the NFL. I did Big Ten and NFL for over 20 years, and um, was shared his experience so well. He took us along to some games sometimes, things like that, and would give us all the information, all the position information they got in the NFL, and would share that with us. Back in our area, and really made officiating better. He's now working for the high school league here in Minnesota, helping officials with that. So he's been very good about sharing that experience, and we all have benefited from his years in the NFL. So he's very good about sharing it, and he really got me going, as encouraged me to go into the principalship as well, and things like that. And we worked together. He was a middle school principal in Sartell when I was the assistant principal at the high school. So we, kind of reconnected there and things like that. And so it's important to have people like that helping you out. And he has some great experiences, great stories, and things like that.
Yeah. And you love to hear that, right? Someone who has been successful, whether it's a school administrator like yourself or this gentleman, Mike, to give back to people, because it helps, right? When there's strong leadership, it creates a good school. When there's a strong official on the game, it's going to make the game better for everyone, because people, even though they don't think so, they want the game to be called correctly. They want school to run smoothly, right? And it helps. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's great. It's great to hear that you've had those people that have helped you, and you're doing that now in your role. Mike, what's been something that's been a challenge for you, right? You seem to be so easygoing. You seem to know how to talk to people, right, about the rules. But what's something that's been a challenge for you?
Well, I think the worst part of the principalship is when you have to cut staff. Faced with budget cuts, things like that. Sitting down across from them, there's no easy way to tell them that your position is being cut due to budget cuts. That to me, I don't think I could ever get used to that, no matter how many years I would do that. That is tough. You're dealing with people's livelihoods, and you're affecting their families and things like that. And that's just a tough thing to do. That's the biggest challenge I think that you face as an administrator. A lot of other situations you can work with, and some of the other challenges, of course, is when you lose a student, or a student dies, be it an accident or takes their own lives, or things like that. We've been through some tough situations with that. You don't get used to those things either, and you're so dependent on the staff around you at that time, helping each other out. And I think that our staff here is very good at that, helping each other through crises and things like that. We're fortunate to have a staff that really cares for each other and helps each other out when we go through some of those situations.
Mike, with so much crisis around us, right, in your state, unfortunately, just went Minneapolis, right, with the police and the death, that happened there. How did you get through the stress of that yourself? What were some things that you did or still do to de-stress when you've had to let a teacher go, or when you've left a student funeral? What are some things that you did to take care of yourself to be able to keep going?
Well, I think you draw on the relationships you've built up over time. You have people around you that will help you through. Maybe they've been through similar situations like that. It's important to have a supporting wife and family. Number one, that they're your real go-to people. And but it's important to have people around you at work that you can confide in and share with, and sometimes maybe you're the one picking them up, but sometimes they're the ones picking you up too. So I think it's important to have that good support system in place. your friends and family, certainly you draw from them at those times, and that's just uh, such an important factor in life to have those good relationships around you that can help you through times like that.
Yeah. And you mentioned your wife, Sue. We're going to get to your family here in a moment. How did you balance all of this, Mike? You're a school leader. You were a teacher, officiating and coaching, right? I think I'm a busy guy, but like you've had a lifetime of events and things. Like, how did you and your wife work out the schedule and the balance of it all?
Well, maybe you should ask her. I don't know. It was probably smoother on my end than on her end. I'll just share a quick story with you about one of her low moments in her life. We had 3 children at home, and very small. And I was out officiating one night, and um, my son was bathing our oldest and youngest son. Our youngest was a baby at the time, and our oldest was about 6 or 7 years old or whatever. And um, they were she was bathing them, and the youngest son pooped in the tub. Okay, so and my oldest son was kind of had a weak stomach, and he stood up and didn't know what to do, and my wife just reached in and grabbed the poop, throws it in the toilet, and my oldest son started throwing up because he was getting so sick, and he threw up all over the wall, and she's hollering for my daughter, and my daughter walks in the room. My daughter's in between those two, and she just looks around and says, "Oh, gross," and so she was up to her hands, and when I came home that night, I think I walked in the door and she threw a pillow at me. Why weren't you there today? She said that's a low moment in her parenting career, but it was. So there's a lot of moments like that I missed, and may have had a tough game out there, but it wasn't anything like she was going through at home. So it's important to have that support system at home.
Well, God bless your wife, and you're lucky you only got a pillow thrown at you. Number two, that's not a low point. That is a high point because she is a professional parent to be able to manage that. So kudos to Mrs. Carr. That's a great story. I see your kids laughing. Yeah, proud moments. That's right. Mike, again, you have a lifetime of stories, a lifetime of coaching. What would you give some advice to a newer administrator? They're starting. How many people, right? You have a brand new AP right now, right? Is that what you start July 1? So tell me some of the tidbits or pieces of wisdom that you're passing on to this young lady.
Well, I say number one, you be a good listener. Again, I think that's important in any profession. Is just listen to the things going on around you, and then be a good teammate. Be a good teammate to others, and support others. Like I say, we have a great team here at school. And we draw on that and build those positive relationships with as many people as you can, and listen and work to earn their trust and respect. And I think listening is a great way to do it, to build those relationships. So.
Yeah, home run. And if you're watching, right, notice Mike didn't say anything about teaching techniques or best strategies, right? These are people connections. These are things to build relationships with people, right? And even in the world of officiating, and Mike knows this, right? It's never that you got the call wrong or that you missed a play. It's the things you say to people, the way you treated them. Those are the things that get officials in trouble, not the missed calls, right? And it's all about the relationship. So it's great to hear you say that. Mike, being a coach, again, you coached at the university that you went to, not St. John's in Queens, which is the same thing that I know.
St. John's in Collegeville, Minnesota,
yeah. And you've officiated. Which would you say is closer to being a school leader?
Well, there's certainly leadership skills involved in both, and there's some crossover. you know, when you're trying to get a message across to a kid, I think learning how to talk to them, listen to them, and but just talk to them and get their stories, hear their side of the story. As a coach, you want to listen to them. One thing I tried to do when I coached, like when we were taking batting practice or whatever it might have been, just walk around and talk to each player individually a little bit. I love those kind of moments that you can talk and share. And I'd bring my glove out in the outfield with me, and you know, shag a few balls and be talking to them and things like that. And I like to do that here during lunch. Just like to walk around and talk to students kind of informally like that. I think that's a great time to bond with them. So coaching, I think, is a lot like that. You're teaching and coaching. Officiating is probably a little more like administrating because of all the things you mentioned at the top of the show, but just that you know, you need to be calm through the storm, and that's probably one of the biggest things. But you know, and you're not going to please everybody with your decisions. You said that at the top of the show. No matter if you're right or not, you're not going to please everybody. And I thought that really nailed it when you said that right at the beginning, because you can't please everybody, and that should never be a goal of yours to try to please everybody, because it's not going to get done. No matter you could be as wise as Solomon or whatever, and you're still going to make the wrong decision for some people.
Yeah. And that takes some time getting used to, right? We were officials, so we were a little hardened beforehand. But as a new administrator, man, you're like, what? Why are these people yelling at me? Mike, again, we're going to get to rapid fire here. This has been a joy to speak to you, and certainly I want to stay connected with you. But is there anything else you wanted to share, right? There's a lot of family and friends watching. This has gone out to the Minnesota leaders and around the country. Anything else you want to share with what's going on with this crisis of the COVID, or even about, again, what happened, the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis regarding the shooting of Floyd and what happened there? Anything you wanted to share?
Well, we're anxious to get back with our kids to discuss that. We really haven't had a chance. If we were out last spring because of COVID, we didn't get to talk to kids in person. We saw a few of them. But I really want to use that to help our kids be a little more tolerant of people, and let's be kind. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to people, and that's what we really want to stress coming back this year: to be accepting and kind, and being different is not deficient. And we should embrace our differences rather than to cause them as to have them as a cause for dissension between people. Let's embrace the differences and learn from each other. Hear their story. Sit down and hear their story, and I think you'll change your mind about how you might feel towards that person.
Yeah, I like to listen to books. I'm always on the move. There's my son. I listen to Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell, and it was really about bringing people together and getting an understanding, like what you said, but doesn't cost anything to be kind. So well said, Mike. Let's get to it, Mike. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Last book you read. There you go. All right. Beautiful.
Well, I read that one, and one I just finished reading was Finding Dorothy. It's a book about Frank Baum's wife, who wrote The Wizard of Oz, and just her perspective as how they went through and how the story came about to be. And then after Frank passed away, and when they were creating the movie, she actually went on set and talked to Judy Garland and some of the characters in the show. It's really kind of an interesting historical fiction. It's all based on real history, but it's through her eyes, and it was very interesting story. I'm a big fan of The Wizard of Oz. I kind of like some of those older movies, and my daughter's actually reading it now. I just finished it and gave it to her to read, and it was very interesting. So
that's great. Maybe I'll do that. My mom's name is Dorothy, and my oldest is middle name, so that's beautiful. Last movie you saw?
Well, I like the old movies, and I'm kind of a rerun type guy. I like The Green Mile is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. I watch that every time it comes on. Godfather, Field of Dreams. I love the old movies. I haven't been to a lot of new movies lately. I just I wait for them until they're oldies and then I watch them. So I have a lot of experience, and plus I'm a big Seinfeld fan too. That's I love Seinfeld. I tell people there's any situation in life I can come up with a Seinfeld or a line that will apply. So, yeah,
It is great. I was the guy. That was must see TV back then, wasn't
yeah,
it? Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Yeah. I'm a big Seinfeld fan too, and yeah, he's a real New Yorker. Do you like comedians in cars getting coffee? I'm sure
Yep.
you do.
I like all of that, I liked Larry David's show. Curb Your Enthusiasm. That was a great show as well. So, but yeah, I'm a big Seinfeld guy. My oldest son, he knows the lines as well, or probably better than me too, because we'll throw those out. I have a college buddy out in Massachusetts who was a school teacher out there, and we would watch Seinfeld when it was on TBS on cable. We'd watch the same show together, and we'd have to give out the next line before they said it. And we had a contest, and our wives would walk by the room and just shake their head, and stuff. And we were laughing over these. So we've had a lot of fun with Seinfeld over the years. And like I say, I'll pull out a line almost any time. So.
I choose not to run.
Yeah.
Your favorite place to travel?
It would be the North Shore of Minnesota on Lake Superior. We love going up to Duluth. It's just in the summer it's cooler. In the winter it's usually warmer along the lake there, and it's great any time of the year. We've been up there every month of the year. Haven't gone for a while, and we miss seeing. That's our big water. We're not close to the ocean or anything, but Superior is pretty darn close. That's call that inland sea.
There you go. Something that motivates you.
I think that spending time with my family and my 12 grandchildren. I kind of live for that, and spending time with them. Wherever that may be. That was kind of one of the reasons I got out of officiating. Was there were a few days where I would wished I was somewhere else. And when you're on the field or on the court, you shouldn't be doing that. And that's when I knew it was time to get out. That I need to have more time to spend with children and grandchildren and my wife, and so that's kind of what I knew to get out.
Yeah, I understand 100%. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Mike. This is a high pressure question. Let's go in order, oldest to youngest. Let's go 12 grandkids, oldest to youngest. Are you ready?
Okay. We got Nathan. Nathan is my oldest. Lucy, Maddie, Annie. Well, I forgot. Andrew is the oldest. My daughter has a blended family, so I'm wrong already. Andrew would be the oldest, then Nathan, or then Luke, then Nathan.
Okay.
And I got to fit them. You're messing me up here. But, I can name them all, but I probably have a picture over there that I could grab and name them all off. But
your family's gonna save you. They'll put them in the comments.
Yeah. Put them down so I can read them in the comments. So anyway,
I'll rescue you.
I have wonderful grandchildren. So.
How about something that gets under your skin? What's a pet peeve of yours?
Selfish and ungrateful people. I have no time for them. People who are so into themselves and they demean others and things like that. Those kind of people. I don't see that makes anybody's life better when you're selfish and ungrateful. I think gratitude is one of the biggest traits, positive traits that you can have. Be thankful for what you have, and I think your life is going to fall into place. I really do. So.
Amen, brother. Growing up and living in Minnesota is fill in the blank.
Little slice of heaven.
Is that your saying or is that a Minnesota saying?
Well, that's kind of my saying. I enjoy Minnesota. I like our change of seasons. You probably get a little bit of that out in New York as well, but I like the winter. I don't like the 50 below wind chills, but I don't mind our winters, and our summer when it's not humid is good. We've had some beautiful weather here these past couple of weeks. We had a pretty hot July, but early July anyway, and now it's been pretty pleasant. So,
best pro team in Minnesota.
well, I'm a big Twins fan. I don't know if they won today. I had they were winning against the Pirates. The Pirates came back and beat them. So the Twins are now 10-3. So that was on this. They were out in Pittsburgh this afternoon. They had won 3 of the first 3 games against the Pirates, and now they lost this one. So Twins are my fan. I love baseball, and I love our Twins. Made the playoffs and lost to the Yankees last year in 3 games, but it was a lot of teams that lost to the Yankees. So.
Your favorite Twin of all time?
Oh boy, I think one of my favorites would have been Rod Carew. I loved watching him hit. Tony Oliva, Harmon Kilber, some of those guys back in the day were some of my favorites. So, yeah.
Worst call you ever made?
Well, I think you'd have a long line of coaches would tell you it's a lot more than I think it is, but I've never missed one in my heart. I'll tell you that. So I really I saw that question, and it was interesting that I can't really think of one. I really can't. I know some coaches would tell me I don't have a very good memory because they know I missed some big time. But.
And that's a positive trait, because you got to have a short memory in this
That's
business,
right.
because
That's right.
you got to get on to the next play. You got to get on to the next thing in school. So that's good. How about a line that you gave a coach? One of your best lines.
Well, I actually gave it to some of the assistants. It was a game where both coaches. It was a pretty intense rivalry between 2 of our schools up here, and every time up and down the court, something wasn't right, and there was a timeout, and I was standing over by some of the assistant coaches, and they said, "How do you take that every time? How do you listen to that on both ends of the floor? You have to listen to it." And I said, after a while, it just becomes white noise. I said, that's all. You just kind of tune them out. Yeah. And that's what I told the coach once too. I said, hey, every play is not a debate. It's not up for debate. I said, you got to live with some of my calls. I said, I'm really not that bad of a guy. I'll listen to you if you got something to say. I'll listen, but let's not debate every call. So.
Absolutely. Best purchase under $100 that has had a great impact on your life?
Well, up here in Minnesota, it's one of these neck gaiters I got to wear in the cold weather. And when I was coaching baseball, I saw a bunch of them on sale, and I bought them for our coaches as well. And to this day, they tell me that's the greatest gift they've ever received. And so I would say that's that neck gaiter here in Minnesota when that weather gets cold. I've taught a lot of football officials. I've kind of taken them under my wing, and I tell them this is the first thing you want to get for those late October games, November games.
Speaking of the neck gaiter, winters in Minnesota are fill in the blank.
Well, I think they're great. I embrace the cold. I think, like I said, I don't like the 50 below wind chill days when, you go out and it takes your breath away almost. But for the most part, they're great. I love a change of seasons. And it is what it is. It's you got to accept it. You got to do things that, otherwise it would drive you crazy. But
sure. Here's the money question, and your daughter Jill saved you We got Andrew, Luke, Nathan, Lucy, Jonah, Maddie, Annie, Lucas, Harrison, Mac,
Celia,
and JoJo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So thanks, Jill. I appreciate that.
Way to go.
She's my favorite daughter. No question about it. So thank you, Jill.
When are you going to retire, Mike Carr?
When I stop enjoying the job, when I wish I was somewhere else and instead of being here, then I know I'll be done. And I'm enjoying it. I love it. We have a great staff to work with. Our secretaries are so good. Our custodians, our kids. I love it. This is. I think we got a great thing going here, and I just appreciate coming to work every day. And so when I'm wishing I was somewhere else, then I'll be ready to retire, which may be in a year or two. I don't know.
That's a great way. That's a great way to put it. I think that's great, and you can tell. I feel like I would want to work with you and certainly work a game with you as well. But we'll definitely have that beer. Mike, how about a quote to end us? You have a favorite quote or two that you want to share?
Well, we were asked to put our favorite quote on the wall outside our office, and the teachers put it up on their doors and things like that. So mine is things turn out best for the people that make the best of the way things turn out. I love that quote because it's it's not just saying whatever is. It's you have to do something about it. You're given a situation, you have to make a decision, or as your book says, let's make it happen. So you do that. And then I just saw one this morning on LinkedIn that I thought was great too. It says leaders with influence. They give when they don't have to. They care for others. They grow continuously. They live authentically. They empower others. They manage hardship, and they serve with humility. That, to me, almost nails every box you need to as any kind of leader. If you want to be respected and have influence on your staff, if you can serve with those things, I think you're going to be a pretty strong leader.
That was well said, Mike. What a great ending to a program. It was an honor to have you on, Mike. If people wanted to get in touch with you, Mike, what was the best way for them to do that?
Probably they can tweet me at mcar3002 is my Twitter, and or email me at mcar94@charter.net.
This was Mike Carr, everyone. I'm going to cue this music up. Mike, it was a pleasure to have you on. Reach out to Mike. A ton of great stories. Really appreciate it. Minnesota, fantastic. Again, I want to shout out our sponsor here. Give Hansy's Cookie a look. Great stuff. I'm going to have to get Mike some of those cookies. Mike, thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew.
Stay on the line, Mike.